President Trump announced earlier today was at the bottom line of plans to have very serious economic consequences if he can't end the war between Russia and Ukraine, what he described as very severe secondary tariffs on Russia and its trading partners. There's some confusion here in Washington over the details of this. Howard Lutnick talked to reporters afterwards and said this could take the form of tariffs or sanctions. And CNN is reporting that what Trump actually meant was 100% tariffs on Russia itself and then secondary sanctions on Russian oil. Either way, it's a sort of focus on the economic side of this Russia-Ukraine war that is clearly frustrating Trump. He expressed over and over again today his frustration with Vladimir Putin, frustration with the fact that this war is not going on. And so we now have this new 50-day deadline, which gets us to the end of the summer, where Trump is trying to end this war, or in one form or another, a lot of economic pressure is coming. And as you mentioned, there's a lot of other tariff headlines. I'll just mention one real quickly, which is Europe. There's a lot of back and forth there today. But talks with Europe are continuing after Trump's announcement of a 30% tariff over the weekend there. A lot of optimism on both sides that the talks are at least going to continue, and that's yet another deadline here on August 1st.
Ben, let's say Trump really followed through with this. I am just curious, how do you think Moscow would or could, not just Moscow, but also Moscow and its trading partners, how could they respond to that, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's a big question is exactly the form that this would take. I do think the oil piece of this is clearly the most significant one way or another, whatever form it takes. John McCain very famously called Russia a gas station masquerading as a country. And I think that's where you're going to see a lot of reaction here if Trump is serious about following through here. The big consumers of Russian oil maintain to this day India, China, Europe, countries like that. So that's the part where is clearly what Trump, I think, is aiming for as a leverage point, and where you're going to see a lot of attention from world capitals, not just in Moscow. The big question you kind of alluded to there is whether Vladimir Putin is changing his position at all on this because of this new threat. That's very unclear. But clearly, if you're in India right now, which is very dependent on Russian oil, you're watching this closely.
Tom, I want to get your thoughts on these latest Trump threats as well, which, by the way, again, Tom, I'm just looking here, the popular average is kind of just shrugging this off.
Yeah, I mean, Trump's negotiation strategy has been punch him in the face and then offer them an ice pack, and they're grateful for the ice pack. So what the market knows is that he goes for all, and then when they come to the table, he talks with them. But if they don't respect his deadlines, he will pull the trigger on the tariffs, which he has. And we saw that in June, $27 billion, record amount of money into the treasuries. And we actually ran a budget surplus in June to the equivalent tune of $27 billion. Spending went down. So I think that Trump's showing a little bit of momentum, and the market's comfortable that he's also shown in recent months more rationality. Comes out strong, and then he backs up into something that's reasonable and the markets can digest.